Today on Rappler, South Korea suspects a cyber attack by North Korea, simultaneously paralyzing 6 of its banks and networks. Malaysia charges 8 Filipinos in Saba of belonging to a terrorist group and waging war on its king. And reproductive health advocates launch campaign Purple Vote supporting pro-RH candidates. Hello, I'm Maria Ressa. Welcome to Rappler, your social news network. The South Korean government says malicious code from unknown hackers causes simultaneous computer network failures in several television stations, banks, and insurance firms. The Yonhap news agency says at least 3 broadcasters and 3 banks report their computer networks stopped working around 2 p.m. South Korean time. A Yonhap television news official says their computer network and editing equipment for broadcasting were also paralyzed. South Korea's communications watchdog also raises its alert level on cyber attacks to level 3. A police official says investigators are, quote, reviewing possibilities including cyber terrorism. The presidential office, Chonghwa-dae, is looking into the possibility North Korea is involved. Tensions between the two countries escalate in recent weeks, with the North ending a 60-year-old armistice agreement and threatening to launch nuclear strikes against South Korea and the United States. 8 Filipinos arrested for the Bloody Friday in Saba last March 1 are charged with belonging to a terrorist group and waging war against Malaysia's king. The first offense carries a possible death penalty, while the second carries a maximum life imprisonment under Malaysia's penal code. State news agency Bernama reports the 8 accused did not enter a plea and no hearing dates have been scheduled. It's unclear if the suspects are among the 104 arrested for involvement in the standoff or if they're Filipino settlers who assisted the Filipino militants. More Filipinos from Saba arrive in Tawi-Tawi. Their lives and livelihood are affected by the standoff caused by followers of Sulu Sultan Jamalul Kiram. Carmela Fonbuena reports.
It has become an everyday sight. Filipinos who settled in Saba arrive here in Tawi-Tawi because of fears the crackdown on Filipinos will worsen. Based in Saba for 23 years now, Filipino Mulshidin Ismael and his family arrive in Bonggao on March 19. They carry with them everything: clothes, television, DVD player, even livestock. Armalin and his family were in the same boat. Originally from Siasi, Sulu, she's not sure what life awaits them there. But she's just happy they're safe now.
Yang nasa niya rin na Philippines kasi naligtas na. Okay na kabukaan.
Okay na daw. Parang happy na kasi ligtas na sila. Haka-haka daw. Ang sabi daw ng taga roon, pag-abutan sa bahay o saan mang lugar, papatayin, pupugutan. Kaya yun ang kinatakutan nila. Kaya umuwi na lang sila.
The travel from Kunak, a village near Lahad-Datu, to Bonggao, took 2 days in this small boat without a roof. They had to stop over some islands to hide from Philippine authorities for fear that they might be arrested. They were lucky to even get transportation. They met boat owner Jalil Jaladil. He sailed to Saba to get his regular supply of gasoline, but he was told by Malaysian authorities he could not do that anymore. Coming home without his supply, he agreed to make space for 26 adults and some children for 100 ringgit per head. Government data show about 3,000 have fled Saba, but out of the 26 who arrived in the small boat, only 10 are here processed by social workers.
Yung basta taga dito, diretso na sila sa bahay nila. Yung hindi taga dito, yung ang mahamon natin.
It's probably too early to see the full impact of the Saba standoff on communities here. But the stories of Armalin and others like her show the need for government action. Carmela Fonbuena, Rappler, Tawi-Tawi.
Advocates of the reproductive health law launch a campaign to support pro-RH bets in the upcoming elections. The campaign, called Purple Vote will endorse up to 12 senatorial candidates, district representatives, and vets running in the local level who are vocal supporters of the RH law. Likhaan Director Dr. Junis Melgar says, quote, "We want to defend them because they are really being undermined." But Philippine Legislators Committee on Population and Development Director Rom Dongueto says the Purple Vote is still choosing its candidates. They're also looking at the candidates' stand on the Freedom of Information Bill and the Sin Tax Law.
Tiyak na 12 sa senatorial balls. Hindi lang kasi simpleng personalidad, no? Issue-based at platform talaga yung pinoprofile, no, at this point.
The Catholic Church fired the first salvo in the debate over the controversial measure with the Diocese of Bacolod's Team Patay and Team Buhay campaign. It's now the subject of a case before the Supreme Court. The Purple Vote launch comes a day after the Supreme Court issues an order temporarily stopping the implementation of the law for 120 days. If not for the order, the Health Department would have implemented the RH law on Easter Sunday, March 31. Human Rights Watch says delaying the implementation of the RH law puts women at risk. In a statement, Human Rights Watch Asia Director Brad Adams says the law was passed to, quote, address the many grave health risks faced by Filipino women. He adds, while we respect the judicial process in the Philippines, Filipino women and families have waited and suffered long enough. This comes a day after the Supreme Court issued a status quo ante-order delaying the law's effect for 4 months. The Health Department was set to implement the law on March 31. RH Law Principal Author Albay Representative Edsel Lagman says the order is, quote, only a temporary delay to give the justices time to study the petitions challenging the law's constitutionality. The Commission on Elections embraces online and social media as it gives Rappler access to real-time data on the results of the May 2013 elections. Paterno S. Maquel reports.
For the first time, an online news group will directly access real-time data on Philippine election results. In a unanimous decision, the COMELEC allows Rappler to host a fourth server for the May 13 elections. COMELEC Chair Sixto Brillantes Jr. seals the deal in a memorandum of agreement with Rappler CEO Maria Ressa. This adds to the 3 servers allowed to access election data in 2010, the COMELEC Central Server, the boards of canvassers, and ang kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas. The COMELEC requires Rappler to pay for the server and other related expenses. Rappler also agrees to host connections from other media outlets, with clearance from the COMELEC. In the Memorandum of Agreement, the COMELEC explains why it allowed a fourth server upon Rappler's request. It says it acknowledges the potential of Rappler's Mood Meter, Mood Navigator, and other mapping tools in capturing the imagination of netizens and the youth and helping them understand and get more involved in the election process.
And we will go into the social media aspect of these elections. And with Rappler actually at the head of this endeavor.
Broadcast giant GMA Network, however, files a motion for reconsideration. Brillantes says the COMELEC will resolve this motion on Thursday. Ressa says the partnership of 4 groups, COMELEC, Rappler, telecommunications giant Smart, and the Parish Pastoral Council for Responsible Voting, will make the 2013 election coverage more responsive than 2010.
Now with technology, when they come together, now it's a whole different thing. Technology, social media, the internet, and the last part, big data. It will give us great insight into Filipinos, into how we vote, into our politics.
Paterno S. Maquel, Rappler, Manila.
The results of the 2012 bar examinations are out with the lowest passing rate in a decade. Only 949 of the 5,686 examinees passed the test. The passing rate of the 2012 bar is 17.76%. The first time since 2003 the percentage dropped below 20%. Passing rates since 2003 have been between 20 to 32%, with last year's rate being a high 31.95%. Supreme Court Associate Justice Martin Villarama says the multiple choice format of the examination made this year's test harder. In 2011, the Committee on Bar Examinations introduced multiple type questions to better measure examinees' ability to recall and review laws. A graduate of the Ateneo de Manila University Law School tops the list again for the third consecutive year. Ignatius Michael Ingles leads the list of bar passers with an 85.64% rating. Ingles shares his thoughts on social change and how to deal with people's views on lawyers.
You can have change, and it could be fast change. So I think if people put their self-interest aside and put the interest of the people at first, I think there can be changes quickly in the judiciary. The only way you can deal with it is being the best lawyer that you can be. And it doesn't mean that you win all the cases. It means being honest, having integrity, keeping to your word.
Ingles is also an athlete. He is a three-time UAAP football champion and was co-captain of Ateneo's 2004 squad.
A lot of the things I learned from football, I got to apply it in law school. For example, our coach, my dear Coach Ompong, was even my ninong in our wedding. He always told us that if you can't do things in practice, you won't be able to do it in the field during the game. So I applied that in law school.
6 out of the 10 bar top-notchers are from the Ateneo Law School. 4 come from the UP College of Law and 1 from Aquinas University in Legazpi City. Almost 91% of the surveyed members of the Makati Business Club say they favor charter change. The results of the latest Executive Outlook survey show members are in favor of amendments to the economic provisions of the Constitution, specifically removing restrictions on foreign ownership. More than 59% say they're in favor of amendments within the next 12 months. 31% say this should be done after the next 12 months. 6% do not favor charter change at all. President Benigno Aquino says charter change is unnecessary to boost economic growth. Well, let's now look at Rappler's Wrap for today, a list of the 10 most important events around the world you shouldn't miss. At number 2, U.S. intelligence officials say chemical weapons may have been used in the ongoing war in Syria. U.S. House Intelligence Committee Chair Representative Mike Rogers tells CNN there's, quote, a high probability chemical weapons were used, but adds they still need final verification. The statement comes after both sides of the conflict accuse each other of using weapons. If reports are substantiated, the U.S. could possibly step in on the crisis. President Barack Obama previously said the use of chemical weapons was, quote, a red line for his administration. At number 4, the president of Cyprus calls an emergency meeting after lawmakers reject the bailout aimed at saving Cyprus from bankruptcy. Under the deal, the European Union and the International Monetary Fund will provide Cyprus with 10 billion euros, but a levy of up to 9.9% will be imposed on all Cyprus bank deposits, a move that triggers outrage among savers. Cyprus Finance Minister Michalis Saris will meet with Russian Finance Minister Anton Siluanov in the hope of winning an extension of a 2.5 billion euro loan Moscow gave Nicosia in 2011. And at number 10, Pakistani teenager Malala Yousafzai returns to school for the first time since she was shot in the head by the Taliban for campaigning for girls' education. The 15-year-old, who's now moved to the United Kingdom, says she, quote, achieved her dream and is looking forward to meeting new friends. Malala was flown to Britain to undergo surgery for her head injuries. In October, a Taliban gunman boarded Malala's school bus and shot her at point-blank range in an attack that drew worldwide condemnation. For the full top 10, visit Rappler.com's The Wrap. Every story on Rappler has a mood meter which gives you 8 emotions to choose from. Click how you feel and your vote comes to the mood navigator in the middle of the front page, and that crowdsources the mood of the day. It also gives you the top 10 stories that helped Filipinos feel the way they do. The top 10 stories with the most votes on the mood meter. If you take a look today, it is a red day, and the story that's gotten the most vote on its mood meter is this one. The Supreme Court stops the RH law implementation. 5% sad, 5% happy, 10% annoyed, and a whopping 80% angry. Followed by another story on the Supreme Court as well. This one, calm down, DOH tells RH supporters, 49% annoyed, and again, 31% angry, contributing to the mood of the day. Today, Most people are angry. Well, that's Rappler's Newscast for today, Wednesday, March 20th, 2013. Visit Rappler.com and watch our newscast Monday to Friday. Tell us how you feel on our mood meter and help us crowdsource the mood of the day. I'm Maria Ressa. As we say at Rappler, tomorrow begins today.